So the next thing we need to do, let's have a look at this. Where are we at? So the boss room entered is true. The next thing I think we need to do is probably get these evil gems firing at the player. So we need to say if boss room is true, we're going to start, so it's same code, we're going to have that same chunk of code there. So let's go back to the gate, let's copy paste that out of the step event. There we go. Now let's go into our object evil gem. Now in that one step event, we're going to add a if boss room entered equals true, and this time we're going to say alarm 0 equals 1. Oh, let's say 30. There we go. And again, we're going to change all these numbers up just to get the game playing right when we're done. So if they've entered the room, the alarm is going to start firing. What that alarm is going to do, the first alarm is going to show that glow behind this gem sprite. So we're going to basically draw the glow. Then we're going to fire on a second alarm. So once this one's fired, alarm 1 equals 30. So this is going to give us a total of 60 ticks, I think they're called, or whatever they use. I'm not too sure what they use. And this is actually going to be the fire event. So this is going to be where they fire the laser at us. And we're going to use the same code that we used for the monsters. So it's not going to be too hard to do this. So in this step here, basically, the first thing we want to do is say, we're just going to say glow equals true. Something like that. In our create event, we also need to initialize these variables. So we need to say glow equals false when the object is created. And in our step event, we're going to do something like, we also need to say glow value, or we'll say glow A for alpha equals 0. So no alpha value yet. In the step event, we say if glow, then we say glow A equals lerp. So we're using that linear interpolate function again. Glow A, it's going to be from whatever it is to 1 at a speed of 0.1. Else, and we're going to do the opposite this time. So if it's not glowing, we want to go back from whatever it is, which is probably going to be 1, back to 0 at the same speed. So this is going to pulse on and off. So when this event fires, we say glow is true. So the glow fades in, then in a time after that, it'll fire its laser at you. So it's charging, it's building up energy. Now we say glow equals false. Now what happens is glow is false, linear interpolation takes over, and the glow A value starts to go down to 0. So we need to overwrite the draw event now. So if we go into our draw, and basically we just say draw self, right? And then just above that, we need to draw a different sprite. We need to say draw sprite. And what we can do here, draw sprite X, I think it is. What we do here is we say sprite gem glow is the one that we want to show. 0 animations with this. If you're doing animations with this, you may want to put the glow onto a different object and then just spawn that object on top of this object. X and Y, X scale is 1, Y scale is 1, rotation is 0, color is C white. Now white basically means don't do anything, and for the alpha we want to use glow underscore A. Now if that made sense and works, it should look pretty cool. So let's go have a look. So we enter this place. Now what you should see, I think if it's working, we're actually probably not going to know if it's working because I didn't put any debug messages in there. So let's do that. Let's jump out. Let's go into the create event. See what happens. Glow is false. Sorry, I forgot to do this. We need to say alarm 0 equals... What, did we do that already? Yeah, we did that already. Sorry. This is just going to keep resetting the alarm. We need to say if alarm 0 is less than or equal to 0, then we need to set it back to 30. And this is basically going to cause it to tick on and off. That's going to be our logic for this map. So let's jump down and have a look. There we go. So now you'll see them charge up, then they fire, and they should charge down. If they don't charge down, we have a problem and we need to fix it. And it looks like we have a problem and we need to fix it. So what's the problem? Let's jump in and have a look. So alarm 0 ticks on which causes alarm 1 to tick, and alarm 1 should say glow equals false. Let's just add a show debug message in here. It's going to say alarm is now off. Sorry, glow is now off. And we'll add one in the other one as well so we can see what it is. This one here should say glow is now on. And if these are working, which they obviously weren't working, but we've got to find out what the actual problem was. So let's just run up here and have a look. We should see glow is now on, glow is now off. Right, so the problem is that that's happening too fast. Way too fast. So in our step event, this one here, we're going to set this here to 120, and we'll set the other one to... Actually, let's have a look. We'll set this one here to... Set this one to 60, half speed. So it spends twice as long charging, I think, and that should make that work. Let's have a look. There we go. Glow is on, glow is off. Glow is on, glow is off. Glow is on, glow is off. That's probably still a little bit too fast. So what we can do in that situation, let's maybe slow down the second alarm. Let's slow this one down to 120 as well. Right, so what's happening is the next start event is happening first. So we need to double this one. This one needs to be 240. So the first alarm sets alarm 1 to be 240. Sorry, I got that wrong. The step event needs to be 240, and the inside event needs to be 120. The other thing we can do is we can also set the alarm 0. I think, is that going to do that? No, that's not going to do that. That's probably a bad idea. No, that's fine. We'll leave it at that. We'll say plus... No, we won't do that. We'll say... Let's say plus random... And we'll just add 20 to that number. So that should make them desynchronize a little bit. Oh, I thought I'd gone in there. Let's go up and have a look how this goes. So, the boss battle starts... They charge up, they release their charge, they charge up, they release their charge. So what you should be getting is you should be getting a series of lasers basically firing at you from all different directions. So let's do the firing part now. So in this fire event, we can get rid of our debug messages now as well. So they've charged up, they're full of energy. They're ready to go, and it's time to fire. We're going to copy most of the code for doing this from the monsters that we created in the last episode. So jump into the forest monster, jump into his attack event, and we're just pretty much going to copy actually all of this. Let's bring that into the fire event here. So we've got the hero's direction. We are spawning the object 16 pixels away from the diamond, which is fine. The attack is going to be... We need to create an attack, so that's going to be object attack underscore laser, which doesn't exist yet, but it will in a second. And the force is the force, and the rotation is the rotation, and the impulse is the impulse. That's all pretty much good. Let's go into our attacks folder. We're going to duplicate the grass one because we know that works. Let's call this object attack underscore laser, and we'll just give it the laser sprite. We'll get rid of the collision with the little guys, and that's pretty much it. If it collides with the hero, the last thing we want to do is say instance underscore destroy, because that way if it collides with you, it's not going to float around the room anymore, hopefully. Let's give that a run and see what this looks like. So they're charging up, they're charging, they're getting... Oh, error. What's the error? Object attack laser couldn't be found. Oh, sorry about that. I forgot to press OK. Now that should work. You know, and you guys can do whatever you like with this system. You can, when they enter the room, you can change the background music of your game and make it get really dramatic, like dun, 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 you know, something like that. You got the gems are charging up. Oh, we have a different error. It's unable to get the PHY position Y of what? Oh, of course, because they don't have physics representations of them. So that's going to be our gem in our fire event, because it was using PHY position X and Y. It doesn't have that yet, so this just needs to be X and Y. Let's try that and see what happens. Because the gems aren't physics objects, so GameMaker doesn't have a physics X and Y representing it yet. So they're charging up. Oh, we have a different error now. Unable to get other.dir. That's because it's not called dir, it's called hero.dir. So let's call this other.hero.dir. I think that's pretty much... We're just going to have to keep doing this, guys. This is called Iterative Design, and basically it just means continuing to deal with the bugs, basically. Not really, but basically. But, you know, that's how we make these things. We try and we test things out and we see what happens. Oh, so the lasers are spawning. You can see them, but they're not very cool. They're pretty lame, actually. We need to give them longer lifespan so they don't die out. Let's do that, because these lasers are a little bit different to the ones coming from the mobs outside. These ones shouldn't destroy themselves after a certain amount of time. And I think maybe we'll make them a little bit slower so they travel through the room with a little less force. We'll get rid of that alarm 7 call. So we'll just say force equals 2. We'll see how this looks. Right, so they're charging up. Okay, they're getting ready to fire. There they go, they're firing. Something like that's what I'm thinking, guys. So you get these sort of like waves of things, and you're trying to kill Z-Bob, but you got these lasers and they keep trying to shoot at you, and they're going to aim at where you were standing, obviously. So, you know, you got to be on the move constantly, but there's going to be like tons and tons and tons of lasers flying around like this. Oh, you know, and it's going to make this really challenging boss. And don't forget, the Z-Bob's going to be on you as well. He's going to be chasing you around the room. If you get too close to him, he's going to change. And if we do end up adding like the second form and multiple forms and things like that, he's going to be moving around, and it's just going to be really hard. So let's have a look where these are all going. Yeah, that looks fine. I'm happy with that. I think maybe they're having some physics representations slightly off. Yeah, they are. Let's maybe change it to a box. Let's try that. Let's move this box over here and just make it the full size of this sprite. See what happens. We'll give that another shot and we'll see what happens then. Okay, so we've got the lasers, they're charging up. Oh, that didn't work so well. I think that needs to be a circle still, just for the weight shifting of the sprite. We'll put that back to being a circle then. That's not a problem. The one thing I think I forgot to do was center the sprite. That's why they weren't coming out of the center. They were looking a little bit angled and a little bit weird. They were hitting the hero from all different directions as well, so now that they're angled, they should look right. So, you know, the gate opens up like that. They charge up and they launch, and now they should all hit me in the center. If I stand still, they should all aim directly for my center. Yeah, that's better. And they also should spawn from the center as well, which makes them look a little nicer. So you just got to imagine you're shooting Z-Bob here, just like that. Bang, 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 bang. Alright, so the next thing that we need to do, probably to make this look a little bit more like a boss fight, because at the moment it's not really looking too much like a boss fight. Let's jump into our bosses, go into our boss and our Z-Bob object. Now, in the step event, we want to know how far away the hero is from Z-Bob. So, we need to say hero dist equals point direction. It's going to be from X and Y to object hero dot phy position X, and same for Y. That's going to give us the distance to the hero. The first thing we need to do is create hero dist equals 0 in our create event, and in our draw event. Now this is where it gets quite interesting. I'm going to do this in draw GUI. So basically, we're going to say if hero dist is less than, let's just pick a number for the moment, let's say 128. We're going to say draw text. And that text is going to be at, we want this to be at the center of the screen. So I can't remember how you get the screen width. Is it, it's not room width, it's view. No, it's not, it's window. I think it's window width. Window get width, there it is. So window get width is going to be divided by 2. It's going to give us half the window, and the Y position, just make that 10. The string is going to be zbob. So boss zbob. There we go. Zbob overlord. So this is going to set the text at the center of the screen. Now the thing that we want to do is, let's go into our create event as well, and in our create event we're just going to say name equals zbob overlord. Overlord, just like that. And what we'll do here instead of this is we'll just say name. It's going to be easier. Let's parenthesize this section here, and then we're going to say, so it's the window width divided by 2. So we're at the center of the window already, but now we need to go even more left. We need to be left half of the width of the string that we're trying to display, and that's going to give us centering. We're going to get centered text. So if we use the function string text, sorry, string width, let's make parentheses as well, string underscore width, I think it is, string width, and the string we're going to give that is the name variable, and we're going to divide that by 2 as well. So when we get close enough to the boss, his name should appear on the screen. Let's give that a shot and see if that's working. No, so his name did not appear on the screen. Let's figure out why that's not appearing on the screen. Room get width. Well, the first thing we should probably try is we'll just put the we'll just do a show debug here as well, and we'll say string hero dist. The next thing we'll do is we'll also just try and set this at, let's just set it at I don't know, 300 for now, just to see what comes back out of that. Okay, so I'm looking at those numbers there. They actually look a little bit weird. I don't see why we are so far away from him when we're directly in his center, which is quite weird. Maybe I've got that math wrong. Let's just check his step event out. PHY position X, PHY position Y, X and Y. And did we center that sprite? Let's just take a look at our boss, zbob. He was centered. That's very weird. He's giving us some very strange numbers there. It's almost as if it's calculating that distance value from the top left corner. It might have something to do with the fact that we're in the draw GUI function. But anyway, for the moment, let's just set this to 500, because it looks like 500 was probably about the distance from the door, and that's probably where we want it to be anyway. So let's just go and have a look. Yeah, that... Yeah, there's something wrong with that point direction. Let me have a look at that again. Hero dist equals point direction, X and Y. PHY position X, PHY position Y. That's very weird. Okay, I'm going to pause the video and I'm just going to have a quick look at what's going on here. Okay guys, that was my bad. I figured out exactly what was wrong. I used point direction instead of point distance. I'm sure you guys all already knew that and probably were laughing. That's hilarious. So yeah, we need to be using point distance in the step event and not point direction, because we want to know how far the hero is from our enemy, not how not what direction he is. So now what you'll see is if we check out the I've taken away the debug messages. Let me put those back. Let's put that show debug message, and that's a string saying hero dist. There we go. So with that, we're basically going to go into the map. We're going to have a look how far away we think that that message should appear, and that probably, I reckon, should probably appear once you hit that gate. So let's just say 250 looks like a pretty good number there, about 249. So let's just say 250. So we'll say if it's less than 250, his name will appear on the screen, and it needs to be at window get width divided by 2. Let's put this code back as well. Minus string width name divided by 2. So that's going to be half of the window minus half of the text is going to put it directly in the center. Hopefully. There you go. So zbob overlord appears directly in the center there. That's pretty much exactly what we wanted. That's going to indicate to us that you're in a boss fight now. So we're fighting this boss. Now, the one thing we might be able to do is might be able to make it so you can take those crystals out for a little while. So you shoot them, they power down. You know, makes it a little bit easier to win the battle or something like that. So you take a little bit less damage. It's not too hard. It's just I think it's a fun little puzzle element that we can add to our gameplay here. So we've got Zbob's name being displayed when you get into his quarters. Basically, let's add some new values up here. Let's add max HP equals. What do we give him? We give him 30 HP. HP equals max HP. Just like that. Actually, I think maybe we should make that HP value a little bit higher, and we'll give him different forms at different values. That would be pretty cool. So let's say max HP equals 60. That's 20 HP for each form. Actually, no, let's make it 90. Really hard. That'll do. The next thing, we'll go back into our draw GUI function, and in this chunk of code here, so if the hero distance is less than 250, the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to do draw. Let's see what we have available. Let's have a look for. I mean, we can use this draw health bar function. I think I'm not too sure how it works. Let's just say we'll draw it at 0. Actually, no, we'll say draw it at 20, 20, and let's just make it 300. The Y value of 24 for the moment. Amount is going to be HP. Back color C underscore. C white. Min color is going to be C red. Max color is going to be C green. Direction, I don't know what that's for. I've never used this function, by the way, guys. I'm just trying it out now. Show back, let's say true. Show border, let's say true. Actually, let's show back false, because I think a white background might look a bit tacky. So let's just have a look how that looks. So basically, you enter his quarters, and his health bar and his name show up. Yeah, that looks cool. I like that. I think the one thing we probably want to do is what did I set his health to? I can't remember. I think I set his health to like 90. Just move that over slightly to the right, and then shift it down a little bit more. So let's also make this say 400, and we'll make this say 42. We'll shift it over to the right by about 300 pixels. I'm not going to mathematically work this out. I'm just gonna wing it until it looks right. So let's have a look at that. Oh, what happened there? That was really weird. I wonder if X2, yeah, X2 needs to be 300 plus 400. Well, you know, we'll just do 300 plus, because I'm still going to tweak those numbers. When I find out what the numbers are, then we'll just set it in stone. So let's just have a look how that looks now. That's probably a little too far. Let's maybe say 100. We'll try 100. A third of the way across. Yeah, that's looking about right now. So let's move that over. Let's move it over by about 50 pixels. Like I said, I'm just gonna wing this, guys. 133. Let's try that. And I think it's a little bit too big now, so let's go back to 32. So this is going to make it 12 pixels tall, I think. Yep, perfect. Absolutely perfect. So now all we need to do is slide it down just a little bit because it's a little bit too high. So we started at 20. Let's move it across. Let's move it down to 30 so that it's just out of the way of his name. I think that'll pretty much do it for this part. Now let's do if he collides with any of your attacks. So what we can do here is we can just go and we can just duplicate this event here into a collision with boss Zbob. There we go. So now we have this event here, so we'll do damage to him if we attack. And again, we'll probably end up refactoring this attack system so we don't have to repeatedly copy paste code around like that, because that's definitely not the way to work. But I think he should be taking health. Of course he's not a physics representation yet, so we need to add a physics representation for Zbob. So tick the user's physics button, make it a circle. Yeah, circle will do. No, I'll make it a square actually. Make it a square. I think he fits a square shape a little bit better. We'll just make the rectangle like that. And now I think the collision event should be working, and that means he'll be taking health. So he'll be taking damage. The one other thing I want to do is I want to add to his step event just to show debug message so we can see what his health is. Let's make his match HP 100. Why not? And let's just add a show debug message, and it's going to be HP. String HP. And let's run that and just have a quick look how that's going. Alright, so now we should be able to see his HP on the screen. There we go. He has 100 HP, and every time we attack him, he's taking damage. And you can see he's flying away, which isn't good, but you can also see that his attack bar, his health bar was going down, which is good. So the thing that we probably need to do next is make him respect collisions. So we'll just add a collision with system collision base there. The one thing I did just think about is he might get stuck in the wall, because he does collide at the top there with the wall. So just to be safe, I'm just going to bring him down here a little bit. And it probably makes sense for him to be standing there as well, because he's not sitting, and I haven't sprited this in any way. So let's have a look how that looks now. There goes Zbob. Now he's going to respect collisions, is he? No, he's not going to respect collisions. Let's have a look why he's not respecting those collisions. I forgot to add the respect my collisions. There we go. I wrote rest my collisions. Oh well. Anyway, now he will respect collisions. There we go, and you'll see him bounce up there. You'll also see this is about how many clicks I think it should take. I like the amount of damage we're doing and the speed that we're doing it, and now he's dead. So the next thing that we need to do is we're going to add another variable. This variable is going to be in our game state event. So let's go back to game state, initialize ivars. Let's add another switch, boss room completed. Boss room complete. So it's not going to be completed, obviously, when we start it. But when we finish it, we do want to set that to be true. So when he dies, we want to say it's completed. So in our attack on Zbob, we need to say if he's dying, so if HP is less than or equal to 0, switch boss room complete equals true. Then the next thing we need to do is go back over here. So now we can come back, we're going to turn these gems off. So basically in the step event, where it says here, if GameState.switches, we don't need to say that, if boss room entered, so if we've entered the room and we haven't finished the complete, so we're going to add not boss room complete. So basically this will be false, and if we add the not symbol, it's going to invert it, it's going to make it true. So if it was true, it becomes false. If it was false, it becomes true. So this reads logically like English. So basically we're saying if boss room entered is true and we haven't completed the boss room, so this is false, so this will become true, then true and true is true. So this will run. But if we have entered the room and the boss is defeated, then this will be false, and the glowing and all that stuff should stop happening. Yeah, I think that should be right. So we need to do that in our gate as well. So in our gate step event, we need to say the same thing and not boss room completed. I think that's what we need to do. Otherwise, we need to linear interpolate that back to 0. Let's go back to 0, and we need to say phy active equals false. So when you defeat the boss, that gate should basically go away. And in this here, when we collide with the hero, we don't want to start this system again if we've already done it. We basically, so we need to say if, oh crap, what have I done there? We need to say, oh, I'm going to have an error here as well, I just realized. We need to say if not GameState.switches.bossRoom complete. I can't remember if it was completed. Then we do this. If it has been completed, we don't do this again because you've completed it. We don't want to start that boss again. So let me just go back and fix those errors, because I did notice that we were going to have an error because I didn't put game state in front of switches, and I know a few of you guys have had that error, so just beware of that. It is game state dot switches, not just switches. You can't just access them magically because they're not globals. They are in the scope of game state. So let's have a look at our boss room now. So we jump in, the health bar appears, the events are still firing, so these are still working. Z-Bob is still taking damage, and the events basically, they give you a little bit of time to get into the room and start fighting Z-Bob. What's this? I've called it switches again. Sorry about that, guys. Let's close that. In the attack, I forgot to do the attack. So we need to call it GameState.switches. There we go. So yeah, all of those events are still working. Now the difference is, once we beat Z-Bob, they should all turn off and the gate should fade back in. So I'm just going to do this so we can see the gate fading back in. I'm gonna keep attacking him. Might just avoid those so we don't die. Not that we would die, I don't think we'd die. Let's kill Z-Bob now. There we go. You see, I killed Z-Bob. There may still be a few attacks coming, but, oh no, there's still a lot of attacks coming. It looks like they've sorted themselves out. Yeah, they must have still been inside of the loop like the second time, and the gate itself is now open, and it doesn't matter how many times we trip over this trigger, the gate will no longer open and the boss will no longer spawn. And that is how we create a boss fight in our game. So thank you guys for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. This video was quite long, so I do apologize. I think we've been recording now for about an hour. Definitely please share this video because a lot of work went into making this boss fight happen. The next video we're going to be doing Z-Bob fighting back, and I mean, the way that we're going to do this is most likely it's going to be the same as the NPCs, sorry, not the NPCs, the monsters that we already have. So basically he will detect a distance to the player. We might add some other stuff in this to make it a little bit special, so he's a little bit different to the standard guys, you know. So maybe he shoots out 3 bullets instead of 1, or maybe he shoots out, depending on his level of health and depending on which sprite he is, because we did have those 3 sprites, and he can change forms, so we haven't done that yet, but we will end up doing that. So yeah, you know, when he changes forms, maybe he does something differently. But yeah, this is the boss. Tweak the numbers so that the boss fight doesn't just last about 2 seconds. You do want to make it harder, probably. Give him more health, give him, you know, make your attack weaker, give him more defense. If you did end up adding things like elemental damage in the last video, then go ahead and make elemental damage work on him. You know, give him a type of being dark, or, you know, whatever type that you want him to be. And yeah, so like I said, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like the video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I've been Ryan, you've been you. Goodbye.